Coming up on the Buccaneers Coaches Show, we headed to Gilbert Regional Park for Grand Slam King of the Beach with head volleyball coach Clay Webb, and three-time gold medalist Karri Walsh-Jennings joins the show. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Buccaneers Show. Again, it's our first remote edition of the Buccaneers Coaches Show. We are out here at Gilbert Regional Park. Park University Gilbert is just part of some really cool things happening here this weekend, and joining me to talk about them is our head volleyball director at Park Gilbert and our head women's and men's volleyball coach, Clay Webb. Clay, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And I know you've been big part in planning this event and
Sure.
this weekend, so can you just tell us again, and what has Park been doing out here?
Sure.
So we're out here just kind of supporting the growth of the game of beach volleyball. Karri Walsh-Jennings approached us with an opportunity to come out and help her run a clinic and kind of showcase and grow the game of beach volleyball. So we are more than happy to help a gold medalist improve and grow the game.
You said Karri Walsh-Jennings is kind of the main attraction here this weekend. You can kind of see in the background, everyone's getting a clinic done with her this weekend. Your team just kind of had a one-on-one chat with her. What do you hope that they're getting out of this experience?
Just from the short period of time that I've gotten a chance to talk with Kerry, she's a pretty special individual, and to be an Olympic athlete and to be so successful at that high stage, you have to have a interesting mindset and have to be in your craft, and I think her one-on-one with our athletes and the conversations that they were having, I hope that they actually take in what she said and really take it forward for their future endeavors, because everything she said was absolutely true, and things that we try to preach about in practice.
But maybe it takes an Olympic athlete to tell them this is their coach sometimes.
What's something you say today that kind of stuck out to you?
Just kind of the process of it's the body of work, how you prepare. There's always going to be moments in time. One thing that I thought was interesting was, she talked about butterflies. As a coach, you have butterflies because you're playing in a game, or coaching in a match. What she had said is like butterflies and turn those into, this is a competitive moment. Change the mentality. Whether that, you're nervous there because you're going to compete at a high level. So turn those butterfly
feelings into
competitive moments. How cool is it that I'm able to be a part of that and then take on that current moment?
Yeah, you got flies are for her as a player, but
sure.
You got to coach. So what are you kind of getting out of this experience?
I mean, it's been pretty surreal. I mean, she's just such a positive person to be around. The couple hours that we've been out here, she's just been so open and willing to share her knowledge, and that's something we see from people in her level, if you will.
Yeah, and your team's been getting practice. You guys are one of the next sports to start up here in January. What's going on with you guys? I'll give you the floor. You haven't had a lot of opportunities to tell us how things are going.
We've just been in the off season, plugging away, trying to fine tune some things that we're bad at and get better at. Those day by day. Really trying to build up that mental toughness within the group. On the women's side of things, as we all know, sport. So how I have to wait and play into the spring is a completely different step for these women, and having them understand that, you've got to understand that this is a body of work. How you work in your off season, so it's gonna those when it comes to the off season or in season. Excuse me.
Yeah, what have you liked so far out of your men's and women's teams from what you have gotten to see?
I think the season getting cut short and our off season for women's getting cut short when our teams are in the gym and to go. I mean, ready at the bit, and one thing that I was impressed by is the competition that we have at practice. As we talk as a coaching staff, we're going to have some challenging decisions to make come up, in the spring, as far as who's going to travel and who's going to play, because we have some dynamic volleyball players on our team that, at the end of the day, I think are, easy to make our team really, really good.
Yeah, we're excited to see. You got a little guest.
That's right, my son. Hello, son. Joe. You didn't bring me anything. No? Dang.
Welcome back, everybody, to the first remote edition of the Coaches Show. And for the first time, we don't have a coach as my guest on the show, but a very, very welcome guest. She's a 3-time gold medalist at the Olympics. She won bronze in 2016. Her resume alone could take up the entire show. So without further ado, Karri Walsh-Jennings, thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure. I'm proud to be the first non-coach and the first remote.
I mean, I don't think I can think of
medal?
Yeah, I don't think I can think of a better one. So. I know you've been out here last night. I know you've been out here today. Can you just tell us, like, what have you been doing out here?
Yeah, well, I mean, Gilbert Days is happening, and we have this beautiful new beach volleyball facility, and we are partnered with the promoters of this event. And so they gave my company, 1440, a call and said, we're hosting this amazing event. It's the inaugural year we come out and support us. And good people doing amazing things, growing the game and giving opportunity for the community, for these athletes to compete. That like has my heart and soul. So I was very happy to hop on a plane and come out here.
Yeah, and you know you made just a big point about being ambassador of the game. You've always said, like, you don't want it to be volleyball to be a sport that we only watch every 4 years.
Yes.
Why is that so important to you? Why is it so important for you to take on that role as well as just being a teacher of the game?
Well, you know, the sport has given me everything, and I have a big dream, and I feel like a duty to lead the sport when I came in. I'm playing for 30 years now, and the sport has grown by leaps and bounds, and it's so beautiful. But you know, it's just, it's an honor to represent the sport, and it's an honor to help it grow. And these athletes deserve so much. You know, there are 18 scholarships in the sport of volleyball in NCAA. So 12 on the indoor side, 6 on the beach side. And we want to expand the growth opportunities of the game because it's so much more than just sport, right? It's character growth, it's learning how to work within a team, it's perseverance, it's resilience, it's so many beautiful things. And so for me to be still playing the game and to give back and help grow it, it's a really selfish initiative, really, because it fills me up so much and it inspires me for winning that gold next year, certainly in Tokyo.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, like, sometimes volleyball can be limited in terms of opportunities, especially at the NCAA level. What's your advice just to college athletes and volleyball players just for getting the most out of their careers, especially say at like our level, the NAIA isn't the highest level, if they just think that they can't reach those highest points?
Man, the NAIA is awesome. It's so beautiful, and there's so many different paths to the top of the mountain, and there's so many different mountains to climb. My path is so different than your path, and there's, you know, that's like the beautiful thing about sports. There's different levels, and there's nothing wrong with playing in a sport that's not D1 at that level. You know, it's just like there's a path and a progression for a reason. And I think volleyball does it so well. There's so much opportunity at every level. And a lot of these athletes are never going to play past their collegiate year, you know, so it's more about the relationships and the things they learn about themselves, those hard things, the team concept that's so important. And back to your previous question, volleyball is so special. The demand for athletes and coaches is so ginormous, but the market hasn't taken hold because we're considered an Olympic sport. If you're an Olympic sport, you're only relevant once every 4 years. But I think the market and the demand for the sport, like I said, we should be 365, 24/7, very relevant on TV and within the business community. You know? So that's my goal, is to expand the shelf space at Dick's Sporting Goods, is to create more opportunity, invite more athletes to come up, you know, go to the urban areas and say, look, you guys, this sport is so incredible. We don't want anyone outside of this just to come and earn your college degree through the sport. That's a big goal.
Yeah, and you know, what can we just do just to make sure that volleyball is growing the way you want it to?
Well, man, show up. You know, one of my favorite quotes is so simple: you have to put action behind your priorities. You know, so if you're a parent and your kids are playing, go and play. If you love the game, get out there and play. And then when there is an event like this here in Gilbert Days with a Gilbert Grand Slam, if you love the sport, go and show up. You know, you can support them on social media. You can support them by purchasing their product. You can support them in person. And there's so much love for the game, but I think people wonder how can they support, and they kind of underestimate the power of a like or the power of showing. You know, and I feel like if we all just took that initiative, the world would see it.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on just that love of the game. That's so important for like the best athletes in any sport. And I know it's a big deal for you. Why is that mindset so important to have?
Man, you know, I feel like it's just so important when you commit to something to really think about why you're committing. And if you know your purpose behind that commitment, that love for that purpose and for the journey is going to allow you to just deal with anything. you know, and I talk to a lot of kids, and a lot of kids right now, they're 10 years old and they're working for a college scholarship that comes when you're 18, and they're so like outcome focused that they lose the joy in the game. And so one way to keep the joy in the journey and to keep your soul from not being sucked out of you if you're not achieving your dreams is to have love. To have love for the pursuit, have faith in yourself, and know that it's a process to go from a 10-year-old capable of making, you know, the 18 to, you know, a 12-year-old, you know, really working to try to get on a college list, you know. So I think love and a sincere understanding of why you're doing what you're doing is the antidote to a lot of these stresses. Not that it's not hard or stressful, but if you have love and purpose, then you're gonna get where you want to go. And worst case, you're just gonna become something more that's gonna, you know, service you in the game.
Yeah, and I know you personally. A lot of people would say, "What else do you have left to accomplish?" You know, a 4th gold medal.
Yeah.
But you know, you'd be satisfied with what you've done, but eager for what's next, and all that just sounds like it comes from a place of love. So, how does that just apply to you? Like, where does that come out for you?
First of all, how rad is that equation? Satisfied with what you have, but eager for more. Like, that just means I'm curious about what's next and I'm excited. You know, I feel like enthusiasm and sincerity are two like magical recipes for anything in life and anything dreams come true. For me, I just know that there's more and better in me, and I want that to come out, and I want that to come out on the world's biggest stage. Ultimately, I want to win that gold medal in Tokyo, but what excites me the most is the person and the athlete that I'm going to have to become the one capable of putting myself in that final match or even in pool play to start the tournament, you know. So the journey, I feel like, is so underrated. On the back of my first gold medal, this one actually, it's in ancient Greek, and it says it's about the journey, not the destination. And when they told me what it meant initially, I was like, that's ridiculous. That's like for second on down. And what a jerk thing to say. Like, what I know now is that if you don't live the journey well, A, you might get the outcome you want, but you're miserable. But B, if you live the journey well, your life is going to get better. And you're going to have a great life along with a great pursuit, and it's going to lead you to magical places that you never knew. You know, the journey's amazing.
Yeah, you talked about that journey. You know, every run to the Olympics, I'm sure, is one heck of a journey. The last time you kind of had an extra hill to climb with your shoulder surgery going into Rio, and then fast forward to 2020, the whole game gets better. So how do you stay so positive in the midst of all that adversity? Because maybe not on that level, but that's kind of something we're all doing.
Yeah, well, adversity is just part of life, you know, and life is hard, like, period. And I feel like the challenges in our life are literally just opportunities to get repetitions about becoming a better version of ourselves. You know, as an athlete, I was so sad when the Olympics were postponed, but my duty is to be sad, to grieve it, to feel it, and then be like, okay, these are the cards that I have, how can I play them to the best of my ability? And I feel like that's all we can do in life. You know, we cannot control a lot of the things that are thrown at us, but we can control our response to it. And again, if you have that love and that purpose and that why, then you're going to be able to endure these hard times. I have a really big goal in my life right now is whatever I'm presented with as reality, I want to act like I chose it. Because if I volunteer for whatever's in front of me, my whole system, my body, my mind, my spirit is like, I got this. But if I feel like I'm a victim to it, then it's like I'm going to wait to be saved. You know, and then I'm at the mercy of who's going to come save me or who's not, and all these things. So I feel like life is hard. That's okay. We're meant to overcome hard things, and I'm excited for all this.
Yeah, and I heard you say almost something to the effect of, those maybe like 10 days when the IOC was trying to decide if the Olympics were going to get canceled or not were harder than finding out that the Olympics actually got canceled. And you know, our volleyball players start up in January right now, and some around Arizona, they're playing in high school and stuff. And we just don't know how the season's going to go. What is your advice for navigating such a hectic season like this and still staying at the top of your game?
Man, you know, I just think fundamentally the hardest part of life is the unknown. But in the unknown, there's just limitless opportunity. And I feel like if you can kind of frame things that way and be excited about it, that's helpful. But I think the antidote to all this chaos that's going on is just to literally focus on the moment. You know, we can't project a week from now. We can't project what's going to happen in January for your athletes. So you just got to take care of your moment, know what you want, put all your energy in the solution and what you want to happen, and then just live your life in the moment, and you're going to get there. You know, I think the best way to create your future is to live a great moment. now. And it's really hard. It's like the hardest thing in life is to be very
Welcome back to
positive.
the Gilbert Grand Slam. Those of you who are joining us here on court 5, we're currently in the final game of our 6-seed tournament today. Sarah and Kaden are up 12-9 in this third match.
Yeah, and I know one thing you're kind of promoting right now is an app you've just rolled out with Tim Tebow and Titus O'Neil called Kindly. Why are you excited about that? Can you just tell us a little bit about what the idea behind it is? And just, I know positivity is such a big part of your brand, so why is that so?
Well, I got a call. He's like, Tim Tebow and our team developed this app. It's a social media app akin to Instagram and Twitter that is 100% positivity. The vetting process is you have to go through it, so they authenticate each user. Each user has to commit $1 to be part of the platform, and there's no negativity allowed. And it's truly a safe space. I believe that ripples. One act of kindness leads to another, and to another, and to another, and and then with every donation that comes, I mean, the goal is to get 10 million, users and beyond, and they can make real change there. So for me, kindness is the coolest. I feel like you become what you are in life, and so if you're a kind human, you're going to be surrounded by kind people, and I'm so proud and I'm so honored. This is so timely, universal. I have 3 little kids. They're not on social media yet, but this is an app where I would let them go, and that says because I feel like technology can suck your soul away if you don't have discipline with it. So Kindly is a beautiful initiative. If everyone could check it out, KINDLI. It's beautiful. The message is awesome, and I think it'll resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on with me today. Have a good weekend out here in Gilbert. Good luck next year at Tokyo. We're looking forward to seeing the whole Olympics, especially we've gotten to interact with you out here this weekend. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Can I invite everybody? So we actually, at my company, P1440, which is one of the co-sponsors of this event, we are rolling out a Road to Tokyo free platform where we're inviting the whole sporting community, volleyball community, to follow myself and my partner Brooke on our journey to Tokyo. And so if you go to p1440.com, you can sign up. I'm going to share the nitty gritty, the real, the raw, the goods, the bads, and it's going to be real-time updates, and I can't wait to inspire the world. My goal is to live an inspired life and to inspire, and I'm excited to share it all with you guys, and I thank you for the opportunity of being with you, and I wish you all good luck. Godspeed.
Yeah, it should be really inspiring to follow along with you as you head off to Tokyo next year. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Buccaneers Coaches Show. Be back here in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone.